This video is sponsored by Bleach Immortal Soul. Pre-register using the link below. Memes are temporary, but flexes are eternal. Welcome, whammin' and gentlewomen, to the biggest flexes in anime, episode 17. I still have so many flexes left to talk about, but I wanted to take a little break because I felt like I couldn't impact this series with my hype because, I already did 16 episodes. So I took a break, didn't upload flexes for quite a while now, and the hype has returned. I went back through my massive list of flexes that I have yet to cover, and I was like, damn, I want to do a flex video. So, whammin' and gentlewomen, welcome to the lovely day where Lord Nuxenor puts his foot down and introduces the biggest flexes in anime, number 17. Like with every single other one of my flex videos, there is a like goal. If this video hits 60,000 likes, biggest flexes in anime number 18 will be out within a week. That's right, Lord Nuxenor still got it. And without further ado, let's jump into the flexes. I'm so hyped to do this. So, believe it or not, I never actually talked about Zabuza in my flex videos. Yeah, that's right. The first antagonist of Naruto, aside from Mizuki. Let's be honest, pretty much a garbage antagonist. Zabuza's great. Naruto, for a lot of people, was their first introduction into anime, where they actually knew it was anime. And for such an early antagonist to be someone like Zabuza, someone fueled by this insatiable will of destruction, but someone who is still so human, I feel like it's very important to talk about the huge flex that he did when he went up against Gato and his men. So there are many things I like about Zabuza, and there are many things he's done that I would argue is a huge flex. The first time he took on Kakashi, actually put him in a water prison jutsu which would have beaten him, and sent a single water clone to take care of the other ninjas. It's a happy flex. The fact that he was fighting Zabuza, leaving Haku to fight everyone else, and then says, surprise, Haku's actually even stronger than I am. To which Kakashi, of course, replies, Nani? Every time he uses the hidden mist jutsu, it drops his wall of mist so no one can really see what's going on. He always plays around with them for a few minutes just to be like, yeah fam, we both can't see, but I know where you are and I'm gonna kick your ass. It's a big flex. But after the fight was over and Haku was hit by Kakashi's Raikiri, Zabuza was a wee bit pissed at Gato and his cronies. When Yato's men attacked, obviously Kakashi had a huge flex on them when he was like, multi-shadow clone jutsu Kakashi style. I made like a billion clones to freak the hell out of them. That was literally the purpose, just to freak them out. Zabuza also had a pretty big flex there, and it was an emotionally charged flex. I've seen people give a lot of credit to the early arc of Naruto that featured Zabuza and Haku. I've seen a lot of credit given to the characters Zabuza and Haku. But this specific moment, I've never actually heard anyone talk about. The moment where Gato is surrounded by a ton of his goons, and Kakashi's like, I'll take them out, and Zabuza's like, no fam, toss me a kunai. Catches the kunai in his mouth, and with two completely limp arms from the previous battle with Kakashi, single-mouthedly cuts down all of Gato's goons and kills Gato. There are 10 spears lodged in his back, but he does not care. This is his final flex, and with just his mouth, he is going to scare the living crizzles out of Gato and then kill him with the little puny knife between his teeth. Him taking on all those men without usable arms, with absolutely no fear of the inevitable fate that is about to befall him, the mad lad flexed really hard. This isn't a flex that contains emotional weight that I still do not forget. It was a very, very touching finale to the Zabuza arc in Naruto, and there was a very touching finale to Zabuza's character, and you went out flexing. Now, the next flex I would like to talk about. Oh man, it's been so long I almost forgot. Wow, that feels good to do. I love these flex videos, damn it. I'm gonna totally do more. It's from a manga called Chainsawman. Now, the only reason why I actually read a chunk of this manga is because of the immense recommendations in the comment sections of my flex videos to talk about Chainsaw Man's flexing. So, of course, I was like, damn, there's flexes in this bad boy. Of course, I sat down and read the crap out of it. See, I read the comments. Bam, leave comments below on your favorite flexes and stuff, and I will definitely get to them eventually, because this series is never gonna end. Man, I love biggest flexes in anime. And if you just, get this video to 60,000 likes, episode 18 will be out within a week. So, that's incentive for you guys. So, I'm gonna spoil the first chapter of Chainsaw Man, and then I am gonna talk about a flex. It's not like a huge spoiler at first chapter, so you are warned. It's about this dude named Denji, and he has a huge debt because his father died, and he doesn't really have any way to pay this shit back. Now, there's this devil dog that has chainsaw powers. That's right. He saved this devil dog at one point, and the devil dog, sort of became his pet, and he uses that devil dog as a giant chainsaw to cut down devils and zombie stuff. And that's basically how he's trying to make money back. Go on these ridiculous missions, carrying this little puppy and turning it into this ridiculously massive chainsaw to just slice down hordes of the undead, make some dough, pay back his debts, everything's going nicely, until eventually the Yakuza betrays him, and he is killed. It's just so sad. I hate it when the main character dies in the first episode of an anime that's not an isekai. So sad. But we have good news. The good news is, Chainsaw Pupper was like, damn, my master's dead, that's not gonna happen, so he sort of sacrificed himself to merge with Denji in order to become Chainsaw Man. This ridiculously powerful dude with chainsaw powers, and he proceeds to rip everyone to shreds ever. Yeah, he's a devil-human hybrid named Chainsaw Man. He ends up getting recruited by devil hunters, etc., etc. It's a good manga. It was a fun read, definitely gory, and if you like Tokyo Ghoul, you probably would like Chainsaw Man. But now, on to the flex that I wanted to talk about. I figured none of you really have experience with Chainsaw Man, and now I'm gonna get comments saying, oh my god, I love Chainsaw Man. How can you say that no one has experience with it? Shut up for a second and listen to this flex. I don't care about any of the politics surrounding my poor wording of opinions. The flex is the following. They're upset at a certain individual, and just early warning, you do not want Chainsaw Man upset at you. So then he decides, bam, let us start a tournament. Me and my buddy are going to take turns kicking this individual in the balls, and the one that gets him to scream loudest before the police arrive wins. Now that is a tournament art I am all for, and it is a huge flag. The purpose of this is purely to annoy the person whose balls are getting destroyed, and for the main character to even come up with this brilliant strategy, I thought was one of the biggest flexes in anime. The tournament, kicking him in the nugget, where the winner is the one who can get him to scream loudest before the police arrive. It's beautiful. It's poetry. Oh, feels so good to be back. And it's from the 7 Deadly Sins. Now, there's a lot of flexes in the 7 Deadly Sins. In the early parts of the show, the 7 Deadly Sins were basically flexing on everyone, which I've mentioned in previous videos. And then when Escanor was introduced, oh man, this guy's the king of flex. He's the big face of the biggest flexes in anime series. But I don't think I ever talked about this one, because when the 10 Commandments were introduced as these ridiculously powerful demon individuals, and no one even stood a chance against them, it made it feel really good when Meliodas unlocked his power and went to the 10 Commandments hideout, beat the crap out of Galand, and was like, yeah, I came here to beat the crap out of Galand, just letting you know I'm stronger than all y'all, you suck, goodbye, and then he just leaves. It was beautiful. He literally teleported to them, punched Galand in the balls, just to flex on them, saying, y'all suck, flips them the bird, well, a metaphorical bird, and then teleports away. It was beautiful. It was so fun. Man, I love Meliodas. And to make things even better, the next time he bumps into one of the 10 Commandments, it's Frodrin. You know, the guy who was like taking over Hendrickson's body and whatever. And Frodrin finally gets into his true form, and he's like, wahaha, it is my true form. And Meliodas beats the crap out of him, stunting himself by only using half power. That is like the definition of flex. If he would have beaten him up because he was stronger, fine. But beating him up with only using half of your power, anytime someone says, I'm only using half of my power, it's literally just a flex. There's no purpose to that. And it was beautiful because Frodrin's a dick. Easily the lamest of the 10 Commandments. And Meliodas definitely made him feel that way. Our boy Aizen, and yeah, I've talked about our boy Aizen from Bleach in the past. It's not like he's a new entry to the biggest flexes in anime series, but I never talked about his manga flexes. I've only talked about his flexes in the fake Karakura Town arc, and I would argue in the manga his flexes are even bigger. In the 1,000-year Blood War arc, this guy only got stronger since you've last seen him while he's been sitting there in prison. Aside from the fact that Aizen's chair is potentially more powerful than any Zanpakuto ever in the history of Bleach, or even the fact that he became powerful just sitting in one place doing nothing. How does this guy, who's been imprisoned for billions of lifetimes, continue to flex on everyone that he bumps into? His very existence is a flex at this point. And I don't want to spoil what goes on in the manga. I do hope the Bleach anime does return, and those of you who haven't read the manga can experience it for the first time without getting the flexes spoiled by yours truly. I would like to talk about one line that he said. It's not a huge spoiler, don't worry, but it's great. So, in the Soul Society, there's this Arete. You know, it's where all the court guard squads live, and it's all great. Above this Arete, there is the Soul King's Palace. It's like way above, and it's like impossible to get to, and it has all these awesome guards. Each one of them is like stronger than like all the captains and stuff, and it's protected by 14 quadrillion barriers and whatever. It's like a really heavily guarded palace, okay? And there's this bad guy up there, and they want to kind of get there. So Aizen's like, fam, why are you all so worried about getting up there? You want me to shoot down the palace for you? Of course, everyone responds, Nani? Aizen is so beautiful in the 1,000-year Blood War arc. To any of you who were upset by how Aizen was actually defeated in the fake Karakura Town arc, know that he redeems himself tenfold. Aizen gets a lot of crap, and I did make a video talking about why I actually love him as a character. So, no one understands Aizen is somewhere you can definitely get a different take on his personality than anyone else ever made. But just his simple line of, if you have business with the royal palace, then I may as well shoot it down here, is beautiful. And speaking of underrated things about Bleach, this is a good place to say this video is sponsored by Bleach Immortal Soul. Bleach Immortal Soul is an officially licensed Bleach RPG mobile game, and it's officially authorized by Tokyo TV. It has an amazing narrative style, which is definitely my favorite part of the game. You get to revisit the storyline of Bleach while still engaging in all the exciting combat for a great balance of storytelling and action. I love a lot of old shonen anime, but it's just so hard to sit down and rewatch it if it's hundreds of episodes long, even though I would love to re-experience it. Bleach Immortal Soul does that and adds all of that with the amazing action gimmicks of the game as well. You can collect all the characters, unlock and level up your favorite badasses of Bleach, and it also has strategic character-based RPG aspect that all RPG fans would love. You got your team composition, the order of your attacks, and the accuracy of landing combos, which are critical to your victory. There are various modes to choose from. You got your story mode, PvP, a battle arena, and anything you'd want from any game. Re-register today to receive a very generous gift packet at launch. You can do this via Google Play or the App Store. Link to Bleach Immortal Soul is linked in the description. You'll only receive that gift pack if you register via the official website, so click that link if you want to play Bleach Immortal Soul. It's a ton of fun. Relive the adventure. And back to the flexes. Flex, why not? Let's do another Bleach flex, because hell yeah, the massive flexes of Ichigo's father, Isshin Kurosaki. Out of Bleach, one of my overall favorite plot points was when it was introduced that absolute goofball dad of Ichigo's that we all knew and loved turned out to be one of the most badass Soul Reapers of all time. Huge flexes that come to mind when it comes to Isshin are, I don't know, a little known flex when he flicked Aizen. Yeah, that's right. He flicks Aizen and sends him flying. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know Aizen, the guy that was like hyped up forever, getting flicked by Ichigo's deadbeat dad? Massive flex. It was amazing and I loved it. But it gets even better. This whole time, he was like attacking Ichigo for no reason to train his responses. And we all thought he was the biggest doofus in the entire series. And then it turns out, when the guy meets an Arankar, the Arankar sees his little puny sword and he's like, ha, I know a Soul Reaper, Zanpakuto, is different depending on the size of his spiritual pressure. So being that your sword is relatively small, I know you, in fact, suck. To which he, of course, responds with a huge flex. Ah, you're very well studied, my friend. You know that if it's a small sword, it must mean I have small spiritual pressure. Or I have so much spiritual pressure, I can condense it into a small sword. Because you see, if I wouldn't be condensing the size of the sword, it would be the size of a skyscraper. And then he proceeds to annihilate the Arankar very, very quickly. That line stuck out and I remember it so well. This is that goofball that we were making fun of the entire series. And right before he kills this hollow, he didn't need to do it. But of course he had to flex at him. Oh, very, very good observation you had there. Yes, of course. My sword is small, so it must mean I have very weak spiritual pressure. Or... and the other option was definitely more fun. Just go ahead and say, if I didn't condense it, it would be the size of a skyscraper. Oh, I love Isshin Kurosaki. The flex is only amplified so much by the fact that he was such a moron for like the first half of the show. Of course, it turns out he's a former captain of the Soul Society. Oh, and did I mention he flicked Aizen? Yeah. Some of the biggest flexes in Bleach definitely belong to Isshin Kurosaki. It's from Fairy Tail, and I've already talked about Mystigan flexing. I'm pretty sure he was an entire entry on a previous episode of the biggest flexes in anime. So today I'm going to be talking about Jalal's flexing, and when he flexed on the entire magical world by disguising himself as Mystic. And now I will explain. Mystigan used a very, very distinct type of magic. He himself had low stores of it, even though he's one of the most powerful mages in the entire Fairy Tail store. The way he would amplify his attacks is by using one magic circle on top of the other like 6 times in order to amplify his spell to be 6 times more powerful than it actually was, and it turns out, yeah, he made himself pretty feared throughout the entire Fairy Tail verse as one of the top mages ever. Now, the Grand Magic game is my favorite arc in Fairy Tail, and yes, the fact that it's an entire arc comprised of Fairy Tail flexing on every other magical guild definitely does help, because I do like flexing. I don't know if you've noticed, but in this very fun turn of a flex, Fairy Tail really wanted to flex hard. Most guilds took their 5 best members, put them in a squad together, and had them fight in the preliminary exam to see if they can get into the greater tournament. And Fairy Tail was like, well, we can flex harder if we split our guys into 2 teams of 5 and see if our top 10 members could take 2 slots of the top 8 guilds. It was amazing. When the preliminaries were over and Fairy Tail's squad of 5 just barely made it into the top 8, everyone was like, phew! And then it turned out Fairy Tail had another team of 5 that made it into 2nd place of the 8. That's right, Fairy Tail was the only guild with 2 teams competing in the tournament, doubling their chances, meaning they have enough members to fill up 2 slots. It was so beautiful. The flex was huge. That's not even what I'm here to talk about. I'm just getting confused by the vast amounts of flexes in the Grand Magic games. I apologize. In order to get together a ton of really powerful wizards, they call Jalal. Jalal is not a member of Fairy Tail, but Mystigan used to be. So for all intents and purposes, the magical guilds thought that this was Mystigan, even though it was Jalal in a mask. Yes, they look identical because they're the same person from alternate universe. Don't ask questions if you haven't watched Fairy Tail. It's all good. But the point is, Jalal is extremely powerful, so he never needed to come up with this crutch of using one magical seal on top of another. But in the Grand Magic game, instead of fighting at full power, he uses all of his attacks at like a 1/6 of the power and uses the 6 magic seals to boost it up to normal ability. Only was he competing with the top other wizards in the verse, but he was doing it with both using a style he wasn't familiar with and dampening down the power of all of his attacks by like 6 times, and he was still kicking butt. This flex was torture. It was drop dead amazing, and his amazing opponents proceeded to drop dead. Funny coincidence. I do love the flex magic games. And of course, sometimes you have to save the best for last, and this is definitely one of those times in my humble, very, very personal opinion. But Captain Levi had some of the biggest flexes in anime. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're not all necessarily flexes, but I'll answer that retort with facts. The fact that he's a neat freak, and he just, like, kills 5 titans willy-nilly, no problemo, and then's like, oh, I got blood on my sword. Meanwhile, a single titan kills, like, 5 other soldiers, and he's complaining about blood on his sword. All the other soldiers are like, oh my god, this guy's flexing on us really hard. Yes, his neat freakness is a flex. Maybe he doesn't do it intentionally, but the fact that he cares about cleanliness as opposed to his own life when he's in these life-threatening situations where everyone else is dying around him, it goes to show how little of a threat he sees titans, and it makes a flex huge. That's how this guy is introduced, just to let you know what league he's actually in. And when he continues to fight, he continues to flex. Man, there's no end to the flexes of Captain Levi Ackerman. There is nothing the guy fears because he knows he can take them down. Now he's like in this very war-strewn world where everyone's dying left and right, whether they're a main character or not. Chances of death is extremely high. And no matter the size of the war and no matter the size of the battle, he's never actually afraid for himself because he doesn't have any titan shifting powers, but throughout the entire story, he has yet to lose a fight. The man won every single encounter he ever had in the entirety of the story. The guy just turns into an anthropomorphized Beyblade and he slices the schnizzle out of any of his adversaries. He has all the right to flex on everyone, and he does. I like how we're first introduced to his personality when Eren is being like held prisoner, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Eren's like demon spawn, let's kill him. And like all the old noble guys are like, yeah, let's kill him. It's definitely the right choice, and we're morally upstanding individuals, so we can make this decision. Yeah, go politics. And in the middle of the room, Levi just walks up to Eren and beats the ever-living crap out of him. He beats him up so much. It flexes on all the horrible things the nobles wanted to do to Eren, and they were like, okay, Levi, he's in your possession. We want nothing to do with this anymore. He flexed so hard on Eren, who was like, oh man, Levi's gonna come save me. Proceeds to beat the crap out of him. All the nobles that were thinking of all these terrible things to do to him, and they were like, no, Levi's way scarier than Eren could be as a titan. Yeah, titans are scary and all, but not in the same league as Captain Levi. We could definitely put him in your possession. No problemo, sir. Just please don't beat the crap out of us by accident. And even in the context of the sword, you have someone like the Beast Titan, an actual fear to everyone in the universe. I'm not gonna list manga victories the Beast Titan had, but no one ever beat the Beast Titan. And then Erwin's like, yeah, fam, I'm willing to sacrifice my life. No problem if you can get a shot at the Beast Titan, because I know you'd win, and you would. There's a certain scene in the manga that I think is absolutely his biggest victory, and it's one of my favorite fights in all of anime and manga. And I will not spoil it because of how awesome it is, because it will hopefully get animated within the next year, and it's beautiful. But Levi is a monster. He's actually a character that's more terrifying than the world of terrors that they're inhabiting. The idea of Attack on Titan is how the Titans are these terrifying creatures that surround them, but Levi is scarier than literally any other character in the story. And because of that, and all of those things I've mentioned, Levi is one of the biggest flexers in all of anime. He flexes on the idea of how Titans are supposed to be terrifying. He flexes on nobles that want to do horrible things, saying that I could do worse things, and you're scared of Eren, I'm scary. warrior, so there's nothing to worry about. He literally flexed them into submission. Now that's how you make political decisions. Want to become a politician? Just flex harder than your opponents and you'll definitely become the president. That's arguably even happened. And just his little cleanliness gimmick alone, I will say it again, it's a gimmick given to him not to increase his personality. Because it's not like, oh, look at Levi. What a well-rounded individual. Look at that amazing character because he likes clean stuff. Wow. No. Clean stuff was not to make his character personality any better. It was not for character development purposes. No. It was purely the writer's decision to say, look how big of a flexer Levi is. He's more disgusted by Titan guts strewn around him than being surrounded by a throng of Titans. And it's that writing decision, among many, many others, that makes Captain Levi, his entire character, an entry in the biggest flexes in anime. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were excited for biggest flexes in anime number 17, which is definitely not getting old, by the way. Let me know future flexes you'd like me to cover in the comments. Smash like, because even though I will probably do an episode 18 eventually, I had a lot of fun making this, and if you get this to 60k likes, I will do the next one within a week. Lord Flexinor is not done yet, fam. Link to the Lord Flexinor merch in the description. Feel free to pick it up if you're interested. Link to the description to my Twitter. Feel free to follow me there for real-time flexes. Link in the description to my Twitch and to my Patreon. Everyone that heads over to anywhere that's linked into my description is doing a huge help for the channel. And also link to Bleach Immortal Soul is in the description. Thank you again for sponsoring this video. Extremely cool. It's actually a great game. Click the link in the description to pre-register now. I hope you're as happy as I am that the biggest flexes in anime number 17 mad to come down from up high to grace us with its presence because they're so fun to put together. And I forget that in between each episode. Have yourselves the most wonderful evening and remember, stay weird, fam.